WTMP HD, Egypt Lake, Tampa, and now on 102.1 in Pinellas County.
Alrighty. Tampa Bay. We finna do what we do every Saturday at this time. And I'm gonna tell you, and I've been telling you this for a long time, nothing's different. Politics is a blood sport. When somebody get hit in the mouth and blood start coming out, don't get squeamish. I keep saying, if you don't know no better, just watch. Just watch. Go to a city council meeting on Thursday. Every Thursday at 9 o'clock they have city council meeting. Politics at its finest. Because it's local folks hollering at and screaming at city councilmen who, for all intents and purposes, can't do much. And what you saw is what I told y'all a couple months ago when everybody was screwing with Orlando Goose. The governor can fire anybody in the state of Florida that's an elected official. I guess I should get the show started before we start doing what we do.
What are you talking about?
But I just wanted you guys to know. And I said that when they was trying to fire the city council and the mayor and all them stuff, trying to fire Orlando Goose. You can't fire Orlando. Not if you sit up there with him every other week doing the business of the city. And if the mayor get mad at a city council person, she can't fire them. Now, it's a whole nother level of politics when you start dealing with the governor. Mm-hmm. Because every elected official in the state of Florida can be fired, suspended by the governor. And I said that then. It's a process. And if you're squeamish, don't get in politics. I keep telling y'all that. All right, let me start the show. This is Porch Talk Radio. And this is Saturday. And we do what we do every Saturday for the last 13 years. We've been doing this for 13 years, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. And what we do is the finest in the Bay Area because this is #1 rated.
Again.
#1 rated urban radio show. So, what we're going to do, if you want to call in during the show, the call-in number is 888-247-8712. 888-247-8712. If you call in during the show, I am going to assume you want to be on the air. Because if you call in that number, I'm on air doing a radio show. That's a talk show. Mm-hmm. So that means you want to talk. If you don't want to talk, call me afterwards. My cell phone number is 813-12.
But if you can't talk on the radio, you call him, don't talk.
After the show. You got a whole week to call me before the next show. So if you call me and you want to talk to me after the show, I'm good for that. As many of you know, because I get a lot of calls after my show, especially a Saturday afternoon. Facebook Live. Guys, we got this thing down. We've been doing this. See, cause the Facebook Live folks know we new to this, you know. Now, I know last week the show on Facebook was sideways.
Was it?
Yeah, it was sideways.
Did we look any better?
We didn't look no better, so.
Tim, check if we're sideways again. If I can look better, I'll take sideways.
So we're gonna do what we do. Now, let me tell you guys some things. There's a lot of stuff happening in Tampa this week. Mm-hmm. I actually got a heads up that the governor was coming, and I got a head up that I could be on the stage and,
all right,
and be part of that, all that stuff.
Do we get to throw roses?
But the thing is, there's certain things that I like and certain things I don't like. Mm-hmm. And so time and everything being involved, and it's good to be seen on the stage with the governor. I've been seen publicly on the air with almost at least the last 7 or 8 governors at some point in time, even in Tallahassee, somewhere here, or whatever. But they said, Eddie, can you come and be and do and hang and all this kind of stuff? And I checked my schedule, and I said, next time. Because if you remember, when the president was here, the forces of the universe worked against me because I went to the thing at the Tampa Tech, and then I couldn't get to the fairground. But that's okay. I knew the opportunity would come again because let me tell you now, not a lot of people are butthurt. I tell y'all about being butthurt because you heard about something you ain't got nothing to do with. You can't change it no matter how you feel. So you go kick the dog, or you go kick your cat. You take it out on somebody. But that's politics. In the state of Florida, the biggest dog is the governor. Not just Florida, all the states. Some of them you like, some of them you don't. Okay, that's my rant. I got a guest on the show today, and he's a good friend of mine. And we've been kind of, doing some stuff. And I got to say, all you know that I am the president of the new Hillsborough County Black Republican Club.
You had a meeting, right?
We have a meeting every 4th Thursday. That's when we have a meeting. And somebody who's been involved with us. Now I don't know if saying that gonna be good or bad for him, whatever. Throw it out there, and I actually think that you're one of our members too, right?
I am. I'm one of the original members, apparently.
Yeah. So
there we go.
So he's one of the chartermen.
He's looking kind of white, right?
One of the chartermen. Well, everybody know we got black and white folks.
Okay, let's clarify. Don't be a racist already.
So
I wasn't in the Navy, but the term for that is called being a plank holder.
Oh,
You were the original member.
Okay.
It's called a plank holder.
There we go.
Okay. And we got some stuff set up. And since Chase is running for Hillsborough County Commissioner, District 7, countywide, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself to you because he could do it a lot better than I can. And without further ado, I want to introduce to you a good friend of mine, also a member of the Hillsborough County Black Republican Club, Chase Harrison. Welcome to the show. Porch Talk.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Eddie, I want to thank you for having me here. And sorry I haven't met you officially, but I'm Chase Harrison.
Hello,
Good to
Chase.
see you.
Gabriel.
I'm Gabriel.
You
Okay.
still ain't said your name. Tell me your name.
I did, I'm old now. I just grunt, I guess. That's what's going on. You get old, you start grunting and making noises.
Like caveman.
Exactly.
Whatever it takes.
I'm married too, so I can
Well,
explain
there
it.
you go.
He
But
wasn't
I,
concerned about that.
I'm just saying.
But I'm a retired Air Force intelligence analyst, and then I became a Tampa police officer, and I retired from that in 2016. What got me off the couch, as I put it, was whenever the Hillsborough County had voted for this 1% sales tax hike the last time, and it was overturned by the Florida Supreme Court as an illegal sales tax, even though one of the county commissioners the other day said it was overturned due to a technicality. How illegal and technicality became the same word, I don't know. But that's what got me off the couch. I've been involved now for about 6 months since I declared in October, and it's just been a roller coaster. And I've met some great people like yourself, Eddie. You've been a great inspiration for what you've been up to, and I'm proud to be part of your new organization.
Thank you.
I recently was invited to speak at the NAACP. They had a large conference at Middleton High School where they held a straw poll, and as one member put it afterwards, for a white guy at this meeting, you did really well because I won the straw poll.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
So,
that's saying
anyway,
a lot.
Absolutely.
The win in Hillsborough County, NAACP trouble when the chairman of the county commission is supposed to be strongly, supporting the NAACP and all that stuff for you.
Right.
But that was the people speaking. See, the people speak differently sometimes than the leadership.
And another important endorsement I got was from the local Muslim community. I'm on their slate card for the Republican primary. Good.
And
The MDF, which is Muslims for Democracy and Fairness, and so I've been accepted by them. I'm the only candidate running that my website, because let's talk about inclusion for a minute. My website's not just in English. It's in the top 4 languages of this county, which is English, Spanish, Arabic, and Vietnamese. So when you go to my website, which is votechaseharrison.com, it's very simple. My name, just put the word vote in front of it. You'll get a choice of those languages. I'm a firm believer if somebody comes here, say you have someone from Puerto Rico, a U.S. citizen already, they 60, 65 years old, moved to Florida because their grandkids are here, and they want to read something in their primary language, I think they should be offered that opportunity.
Okay, good. And again, being inclusive is important.
Absolutely.
That may be
This
the
county is
difference.
very diverse.
That may be the difference. Yeah.
Right. And I'm running a county-wide race from Oldsmar to Waimama to Fort Lonesome, and there's a lot of diversity throughout that county.
Yes. See, when I was running way back when, I had 3 counties. I had Hillsborough, Pinellas, and part of Manatee. So I had a little bit, I was burning, 200 or 300 miles a day just campaigning. So what you gonna make different? Why should I vote for you?
Well, if you look at my card, there's 3 statements on there. 1, restore freedom. And what we're gonna talk about that for just a second is, remember during the pandemic, the county commissioners shut down our restaurants and bars?
Yep.
Even though the county commission just the other day, they had talked about how tourism is such a staple of our economy.
It is.
Right, so they're gonna put all these people, small business owners, out of business. and
Forever,
then
some
when
of them.
Sir?
Some of them forever.
Oh, absolutely. Because when they would have said, finally, if it hadn't been for the governor stepping in and said, you can't do that, you can only control county property. By doing that, they put businesses completely out of business.
Right.
And we were at a breakfast one morning at Al's Finger Licking Soul Food, right? And I made it a point that morning to say how ironic it is that we're in a restaurant on 7th Avenue in Ybor, where under the current county commission would still be locked down.
Yep.
So all the employees would have been unemployed, the owners would have lost their business, the lease is up. Their equipment in the kitchen had been repossessed because they had no money to pay the bills.
Right.
But the county commission, who never missed a paycheck,
Right,
is
never.
making these decisions.
Yep.
So that's where I stand on that. The second point was cut taxes. The school board right now has on the ballot initiative for the primary to increase millage rates. They don't call it a tax, a property tax, it's a millage rate, folks. Well, they don't need more money to mismanage. Remember
Right.
a few years ago, they were almost taken over by the state because of mismanagement. They got a new superintendent who has now got a pay raise, but yet they need more money. Makes no sense.
But they lost they lost $150 million a couple years ago.
Well, they don't know where it is.
Just lost.
Yeah.
Just lost.
Well, the property appraiser recently told them that you're not gonna need this millage rate increase because under the new taxes through his office, they're gonna have 157 million more next year than they had this year.
Right.
But it's on the ballot. The county commissioners, when they put it on the ballot, put it on the primary because they didn't want it on the ballot with their 1% sales tax hike because it's back.
They didn't want to die.
Exactly.
They didn't want to kill. They didn't want to kill their own bill.
There you go. So that's what we're up against. And the third one is personal responsibility. And on that, it's very simple. If you want to wear a mask during the pandemic, wear a mask. And if you can't find one, I hope you find one. But don't tell me and my family we have to do anything.
Right.
Right? That's between you as a personal responsibility, and maybe get your doctor involved to see if you're a high-risk person when it came to COVID.
Right.
So that's where my 3 bullet points on my card came from.
What about the donkey pox?
Oh,
Like the monkey pox?
the donkey pox. I'm waiting for the midterm variant to be announced.
The donkey pox. They'll have another one between now and November.
They have to.
Well, the cure to the donkey pox is the ballot box.
There you go. Got to make a difference. So, I know you're involved, and I know you're out there, and I see you working hard. What changes do you plan to make to help make the average citizen in Hillsborough County life better?
Well, one thing, I think that we need to conduct an internal audit of where all the money for the county is at.
Uh-oh.
Right? I want to get into the department heads and find out, one, have they ever fired anyone? Because it seems like you go to work for the county, it's a permanent assignment,
It
like
is.
the Supreme Court. They'll
It
just
is.
hide you in another area.
It is.
They'll promote you.
Yep, exactly.
No matter what you do.
That's right.
So I would like to put an end to that. So overall, I'm looking at reducing taxes.
if a department has a budget and they don't spend all that budget, so if a department has a budget, they don't spend all that budget, it's returned to the county commissioners for, I wanna call it a slush fund, but it's for discretionary spending on their part. Like the District 1 guy, he recently promised to donate millions of dollars to the Strass Center. Well, how does that benefit someone who already paid for the Strass Center, right? You have to still pay to get in to see a show, and they lease that building from the city of Tampa. This county commission seems like their focus is on the city of Tampa. And this county is bigger than the state of Rhode Island with a budget over $7 billion. And they don't seem to understand that just focusing on the city of Tampa, unless down the road you decide to run for mayor maybe. See, imagine what I can do for you if you elect me as your mayor. Not saying anybody's doing that. But people, once again, in Sun City, Apollo Beach, Fort Lonesome, all those, they should not be funding things in the city of Tampa specifically.
And they don't want to be funding things in the city of Tampa. But if you ever go to any of the meetings, because when I was running for Congress back when, I went to a lot of meetings out there, Sun City, and some of those places, and they have their meetings, and they don't appreciate having to pay for every new smart idea, a gadget that they come up with in the city. Right. And the county funds it, and they don't get no benefit from it whatsoever.
You mean like Waimama?
Waimama.
That's a prime example.
They get squat.
And a lot of times, say Tampa gets this electric train that they're going to take a lane out of, say, I don't know, Nebraska Avenue to build this thing. They don't even know it exists, much less any reason to ride it.
Right.
You know, if the city of Tampa wants a train, they need to find funding from somewhere else. What happened to bond initiatives? If it's so popular, and speaking of that, the 1% sales tax is so unpopular, they just voted to spend $700,000 of our tax money to hire a firm to promote it.
Of course.
$700,000.
But they did that before. The last time they had a tax referendum, they had an organization that raised $4 million to campaign to get it passed. That's how they passed it.
Wow.
That's how
so that's our tax dollars coming against us.
No, those are private funders.
Private fund, okay.
See, because the $4 million had to be private money. Okay. Because it was the county thing, and so if the county was going to do it, the county had to say, "Well, this is us promoting the idea." So they thought it would be better if they didn't spend taxpayers' money outright promoting.
Which is not what they're doing this time. No. $700,000 of our tax money we've already given them. Well, where's the $700,000 to go against it in a ad campaign?
They won't do that.
No, of course not.
Because somebody has to say, see, they had an organization called No Tax for Tracks.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been fighting this thing for 10 years. And they still doing their best, but they don't have a bunch of rich folks in No Tax for Tracks, because most of the leaders I know.
And a lot of them would benefit business-wise from building the train.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what,
the problem.
Back in the day when Mark Sharp was out there, I think that kind of shot him down the tubes because he jumped on board strong with that.
He went to Texas, I think.
Yeah, he had to get that out of here.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Did he take the train?
He jumped on board to push that train, and that's all she wrote.
Wow.
But you got to see behind the scene, a lot of this stuff is interconnected, and a lot of these people are connected for is who making money, who's not making
Brother-in-law,
money,
cousin,
and how
relative,
this stuff goes
owns this
on.
construction company.
These networks of people that you would never guess the connection between somebody over here and somebody over there.
Right.
And they are all dependent upon the same thing. They have to make it appear, the magic show, they have to make it appear that they don't have anything to do with each other, and sometimes they don't even like each other. You know, they fussing and fighting, but they connected. They all connected, and the sole purpose of the whole train when it started, they were upset because the governor didn't take the federal money. Now I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of people don't know that federal money is still dangling around in California, and it ain't done nothing yet. And they got California strangled trying to deal with the federal government because that money is supposed to be at some point in time we're going to get paid back.
Right.
but it's still out there messing around.
I'm
Not.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, let's talk about for this ferry service that they keep bringing up, right?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't personally, as a military person, I don't see it ever going directly to MacDill Air Force Base because it would be a security nightmare if one incident was to happen.
One.
Right.
That base commander, their career is done.
And he just got started.
Exactly. They just had a change of command. You're absolutely right. So when I talked to them not long ago, they said they have been looking at possibility of a point by Palace Point area, and then people could be shuttled by buses to the base. Well, what does that accomplish? And this ferry would only alleviate like 1,200 cars from going all the way around the bay to get to the base.
Right.
By the time you get down to the expenditures of not only gas and fuel for these other items to get them around, maintenance.
Right.
These things have to be maintained.
And the infrastructure for the dock and all that. And they want us to pay for that.
And again, with the government involved with infrastructure, that means it just becomes another money laundering thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And didn't St. Pete just pull out of the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
There was something in the news recently that said we're not going to bother with it.
But see, the thing about it was, it was the mastermind, the smart people came up with this idea. Matter of fact, I even went on. I took the ferry ride.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I took the ferry ride downtown Tampa, downtown St. Pete. They let you out. You walk around for 30 minutes, you get back on the boat, and come back. I mean, but that's what it was about.
They serve you booze or anything? Food?
No food.
I was going to ask, I didn't know how to word it.
No food, no booze.
Straight out, bro.
But see, the ride I went on was the ride they take the investors on.
Oh.
See, because they were trying to get us
caviar
to
on
the
that
dog
one,
and
yeah.
Tony show.
Yeah, exactly.
help
Champagne.
and show how good it is and all that kind of stuff, But the nature of it was supposed to be to reduce traffic on the roads from South Tampa. But no, that's not. What's that called? That's not South Tampa's in Tampa.
Yeah.
That's South County. South County.
Oh, okay, from Apollo Beach.
Yeah. From South County to MacDill. It was supposed to reduce and make it significant the number of cars that wouldn't be making that trip.
You guys call the numbers off at 1,200. I'm reminded back when we were doing the tracks for Tampa or something like that, back when they first started it, and they ran the numbers on all that, and they said it would be cheaper for the city of Tampa to buy every bus driver, every person that gets on the bus. Normally, it would be cheaper to give them each a Ferrari with free maintenance for years than to bother with the tracks.
That's when they're talking about that train coming from Orlando.
Yes.
That train, for what it would have cost
The train of death.
us, what it would have cost
With
us.
them shifting four highway thing?
Yeah, everybody could have been driving a Ferrari
for
for free.
And you're going to talk about intercity light rail. Their goal is to get you out of your car.
Right.
They want you to take buses. So even in downtown, where I live, I know now, when I first moved into downtown, you can park at a parking meter from 6 p.m. to 8 in the morning, free. Now it's 24 hours a day.
I saw that.
And weekends. Because once you get down there, you can't find a place to park, so you leave. And then next time you know to ride the bus, but you can't park.
And the ticket downtown is $30.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
a regular
$15.
parking ticket. That's no special additional ticket. That's one ticket on your windshield.
Wow.
If you come back and there's 4 or 5 tickets on your windshield, they got you for everything for the last couple of
There goes
years.
your paycheck.
Any violations you got,
Well, I haven't seen too many skinny meter maids, so I don't know.
Oh no.
Well, and they've also now they got that central pay station, right? It's
Yeah.
all electronic. I think that's designed so that if an elderly person can't figure it out, they're getting a ticket.
I wonder who
Because
controls
it's
that.
very
It
it's
is.
difficult.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is get the app for your phone.
The
Because
pay.
then even if you're not near it, you can
I
renew
bet
it.
you there's a company out of state that handles that
Yeah.
for
Well, I've
us.
seen the same company in San Diego when I was flying corporate jets. I was
okay.
there one time and I got to use the same app in
Oh,
San Diego.
wow, okay.
Yeah. Same company.
Well, my problem is you have to hunt down those pay stations.
Yeah.
Because I went to city council meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't park in front of the
Where else was
the city of Tampa building.
Okay.
See, they got 2 buildings. They got old city hall, then they got new city hall.
Which is really old too.
Yeah. so I normally park, west of the old city hall.
Mhm.
Well, the other day all those were taken up, and so I ended up going east. So east, you got to go 2 or 3 blocks
Yeah.
back and all
All
that
one
stuff.
ways.
So I went back there, I parked, but I couldn't find a pay station.
Oh.
So I ended up having to walk all the way to the old City Hall building and find the one pay station that's in front of old City Hall.
Right.
I know it's there
Well,
because
if you do it on the app, it'll actually map you back to your
Yeah.
car in case you forget where you're from. So, just so you know.
but I figured all that was
Yeah.
was better than paying a $30 ticket.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely.
So then, give us the history of what did you do beforehand you wanted to do this? What was your career or whatever?
Well, I grew up in Southeast Texas.
Okay.
I've always been interested in aviation. When I look back, even my toys as a kid were all airplane stuff. But I lived in a little town of 5,000 people. We didn't have an airport. Didn't know anybody was a cop. Anybody didn't know anyone was a pilot. So it's not like now on the internet you say, "Hey, I'm 16 years old. I learned how to fly," and 30,000 things
Sure.
come up. So I went in the Air Force, and that was my way to get around airplanes.
I guess so.
First
Somebody else paid
assignment.
for it.
That's right. And I was getting paid to be there. I got paid to live in Germany for 2 years.
What a deal.
So yeah, and I was at an F-16 wing, and I was just fascinated every day I went to work. And so after that, I came back to Florida and ended up MacDill Air Force Base. I was at U.S. Central Command as a ballistic missile analyst. I worked in intelligence, and that was in 1996. And then got out of the Air Force to pursue a professional airline career. September 11th came along. I got recalled active duty for 2 more years.
Wow.
And then when I got out, there were no flying jobs. So my neighbor was a canine officer with the police department. So I did a ride along. I was like, this is pretty cool. And next thing you know, I'm hired by the police department. And knowing then that after 10 years you get a pension, and I did that for almost 13 years.
Okay.
And things were picking up with the airlines again, so I decided to get out. And I've been here a long time. I'm not a plank holder in Tampa. I
Yeah.
wasn't born here, but this is my home.
Got it.
And just not happy what's going on with the county commission. And it's time, there's a lot of veterans running in this primary, and you're going to see a lot of them winning in
Oh yeah,
November.
yeah.
A lot of veterans. We're putting our combat boots on. We're not happy. And there's people even on the other side of the fence who are not happy, but they're going to vote, I'm pretty sure, Republican this go around. And I'm not teasing them or taunting them. Just let them walk away.
You know, there's so much going on right now. So many facets that are just wrong with our local government. Eddie calls them off from time to time. The 25 million that they lost a while back, they just disappeared. Nobody investigated. It just, I'm sure that person got promoted. And now they're going to get another 25 million to make up for the other one they lost. Nobody knows where it went. All that, it's like you have to try and say, okay, I'm going to run and represent this, but this is an issue still back here. It's like you have to come in with a team.
Right.
You go after that, you go after that, I'm going after this, and try and make it work.
But see, the problem I find is that everybody, it seems, from the very beginning, is running for something else.
Mm-hmm.
They come in the door, step, step. I'm gonna use this as a stepping to get to here, to get to here, to get to here, to get to here. And that's back in the back of their mind, every move they make. So and since we've been doing Porch Talk Radio, I always tell folks, don't tell me no secrets. Because I am about moving this black community forward. So if you got something that you don't want out there, don't tell me, because I'm about educating, taking off the blindfold. Black folks have been brainwashed for so long, and the system just done got used to using them.
Mm-hmm.
They literally a tissue,
Mm-hmm.
toilet tissue. I might as well say they wipe their butt with us, and they do it so regularly. If you complain about it, they like, what's the matter with you? Get on board.
Get on board. Get on the plantation. That's
And
going after Mr.
see,
Gould.
see, I'm not the one. And I get on the show and tell 200,000 people I'm not the one. See, that's the difference. See, I'm not running for anything. I'm retired. I'm retired from Tampa General Hospital. I got Social Security. And so I don't have to have somebody call my boss, which they threatened to do several times over this 13 years.
Oh, yeah.
They call my boss, and I used to work for Tampa General for 20 years. So they can't call my boss. They can't call my sponsors because I'm the sponsor. So for all intents and purposes, they want to complain about me. See what happened? They want to listen to this show because they want to get it. See, like, we got a caller. I get to the caller, but they don't want to miss anything. See, that's the good place.
They love to hate us.
Yeah. Like Ali. Half the folks went to see Ali win. The other half went to see him lose.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but they paid for the tickets.
Yep.
That's right.
Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello.
Hi, brother. How you doing? Peace and blessings to you.
Doing great.
Connie Burton.
Sister.
Yes, I can tell you they call my boss all the time, but if I get fired, so be it. But listen, this is what I want to bring to the attention of the community this morning. The city of Tampa is getting ready to pass its budget. And the budget for the city of Tampa is $1.9 billion.
So mine would say $2 billion.
$2 billion. And brother, I was so appalled that when you look at what I can only give, I'm concerned about what's going on in this city. Out of the $2 billion, they talked about the Hannah Street project, things to come in, and I don't see no benefit to the community, financially, economically. I just don't see how that is going to translate to something in terms of how it's going to be a benefit to the community, even employment opportunities. But nonetheless, the only thing I could see is, of course, the Fair Oaks Park being redone. It's something that we've been struggling for the last 10 years or more. And a pittance of $5.5 million to deal with this enormous housing issues here in the city of Tampa. And so there are so many things that's going on, but it seems like to me, people need to be paying attention. People need to be coming to the upcoming workshops. If housing is indeed a crisis, and we know it is, then we should be making more of a demand of that $2 billion being set aside for housing opportunities for people outside of the buying traditional homes that is now so high in price that many working class people can't afford. But nonetheless, we need somewhere to stay. So if you could pay attention to that for us, we would appreciate it. I know there's going to be 2 workshops in September, but we need to have our voices heard to make a demand to this city government that more money is put in place so we can have a housing alternative, that we can look at different housing styles, modules, and other opportunities. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention this morning.
Well, thank you so very much, sister. I appreciate it. And several years ago, me, you, and a couple other folks sat down and looked at something that, for some reason or another, it is catching on and it is working all over the country. Container houses are everywhere. And when I see one, I notice it. I said, that's a container house. It's got certain signs. They all don't look like container houses. I'm an architect, so I can tell. And I know that there's several vacant blocks in the urban core that you could take that whole block and put 10, 20 houses on it, container houses. And it'll fit, and for all intents and purposes, they put enough fascia on them and enough brick on the outside, enough stucco, you couldn't even tell.
How much would it cost to do that, Eddie?
Huh?
How much would it cost to fix one of those up, you think?
Well, it depends. It's like regular houses. But the thing about it, you can take a community of those things, because they've done it in Australia and they've done it in a couple other places. And when you first look at them, you really can't tell. But I know the people here in Tampa, some of the decision makers, some of the people in the county here, some of the decision makers have, for some reason or another, somebody put the bad word out. And once the bad word get out, it's kind of like when people go behind your back and tell all your friends the little nasty stuff that they got on you, but they don't want you to know that they done told everybody. And that's what's happening with the container houses, because it's nothing wrong. Matter of fact, they're safer than, I'm an architect. I'm telling you, they're probably safer than 80% of the houses people living in right now, because it's a steel box, and it's a steel reinforced box. And any structural guy would tell you, you got a steel reinforced box. They make a skyscraper, 80, 90 stories tall, made out of reinforced steel.
It's a vault.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there's literally a vault. It'll float away before it collapses.
Huh.
You see what I'm saying?
Goodness.
So sister, thank you for your input, and I'm gonna get on that. I tell you that I'm gonna get on it, because it's about time, because they've run out of the bright folks have run out of good ideas, and they don't want to look at other ones. But sometimes you may have to kick the mule in the head or hit him in the head with a 2x4 to get him to move. But we able to do that.
That'll work.
Thank you.
Set up a little community just for that.
We got another caller.
Yeah, you do.
All right.
My goodness.
Okay, that's good. See, this is a good, intelligent caller. See, we get some callers, but Joe Robinson is a standard.
Come on, Joe.
Joe Robinson is a standard. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Bring it.
Well, thank you so much. Here we go. Connie's absolutely right. You're right. They're not called container homes. Don't engineer. They're called tiny homes. And I've taken some courses on part 1, part 2 by putting mechanical plumbing, fire protection, all that for tiny homes. They're called tiny homes. Containerized homes, whether it's containerized, it's called tiny homes. And there's a design for doing tiny homes, but they can be architecturally pleasant. That is a solution that can help the housing crisis. The other one, out the box, is taking some of these hotels and convert them into apartments. Cut this nonsense out like they did over there on the 2 roads.
Yep.
They took a hotel that ain't doing no business, run down, when they fixed it all up, new appliances, and got people in there staying right now as apartments, and got amenities with it. So there are solutions. It's just that, like you said, Eddie, the people in leadership got to realize this ain't the old Tampa. This has got to be the new Tampa, and we got to think out the box, because those archaic ways of administration and governance is not the same. Things change, and we got to get up to speed. And if not, you're going to get left behind and put out of office. And I'm going to leave it at that, man. So I just wanted to call in and add that. As an engineer, you an architect, tiny homes is a doable in Tampa, Florida. It will help solve the homeless problem and everything else around here. Because think about it. Catholic Charity's doing a hybrid. They're doing some temporary homes out there and the city gave them land to do it with. So don't get me started. Them ain't tiny homes, but that's a habit of moving towards that. So I just want to say that a lot of these lots can have tiny homes. It won't take all that zoning. And we need to change the zoning laws and get up to speed with everybody else around here that's trying to get housing done when it ain't none around. And that's all I want to say, man. It's a good show, and I'm going to get off here and listen in. And thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you. And let me tell you something else that a lot of folks aren't talking about. And then I get to the next caller. There are giant, big warehouses out there in San Francisco and California and a couple other places. They've taken these big warehouses and built smaller units inside these warehouses. Call it container houses, tiny houses, whatever. And they have literally a village inside this big warehouse. So they're not subjected to the environment. People got addresses inside these warehouses. They have their own little spaces, and they have done some fantastic things with putting people in these warehouses. So where this giant warehouse is no longer a warehouse, now you got 40 people living inside this warehouse. And for all intents and purposes, you ain't even got an air-conditioned warehouse because everybody got their own unit. So, I mean, it's some good things out there. We just got to take our head out the sand and start dealing with it. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello? Caller.
Hello.
Hello. There you go.
Hello.
Eddie, you there? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Reverend Crawford, how you doing? I hear what you're saying. You know, yeah, I listen to you. I enjoy listening to you. I don't agree with everything you say, but I enjoy listening to you. Look here. I don't think black folk ought to let the black community just go and be re-gentrified and all that. Because listen here, it's a lot of these houses. All these houses need is some plumbing and some paint on them and a little decoration on outside. And they can live back in these houses if the banks would work with the black community in these houses. What do you think? Tell me something.
Let me tell you what you're doing. Mm-hmm. If the object is gentrification, that's the word you were looking for, then they have a purpose. They don't want you to stay in that house with a little bit of paint and a little bit of plumbing, and a new roof. They don't want you there. What they want to do, they want to force you out so that somebody from New York or California or Philadelphia or Connecticut or somewhere up north want to get out the cold, got a bunch of money. They want to buy the lot, build them a nice big house on it, and stay here and retire. That's the move. If you look at what's happening all over the state of Florida, that's what's happening. I got a client. She wanted me to come look at doing a carport for her. Across the street, now her house is at best $60,000-$70,000.
Okay.
Across the street, one house is $2 million, and the house next to that is $1 million. Now I told her she fighting a losing game because the tax increase for everybody in that neighborhood, cause not trying to make the property appraiser a bad guy, but he got to get his money, and that's how they get their money. Every time somebody looks in that neighborhood, them two houses, $3 million, gonna show up, and it's gonna be considered with any considerations for the rest of that houses in that neighborhood.
Eddie, that happened to my mom there off of Armenia. The house next door, she's got an old house built in 1910, I think. Old frame house. We kept it up pretty good, but the neighbor next door bought the lot next to her, cleared it out, put up a brand new house. The value of that house probably 3 times my mama's house, and my mom's paying some taxes. On this old frame house, right next door, brand new spanking, it was a house built 2 years ago. Right, a big old house.
But that's because it's not, gentrification don't happen by accident. It's a planned process. And we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what's that you? Hello?
Hey, Brother Eddie, this is Brother Jarvis. I just wanted to call. I'm down to my last number calling today, which is my dear friend Ed Adams, for the Treating and Sales Mentality book signing event today at WG Bookstore. It's at 7921 North 40th Street. It's at 40th Street and River Hills at the second roundabout going north. We have a clearance sale for all Black History books today for $5, and my book is $15 for a autographed copy if you want to develop your persuasion and your just persuasion skills and learn about selling and marketing and selling. You come on out, Eddie. This is going to be, it's from 1 to 3. I'll be 3 o'clock for the book signing. Jarvis Elamine, author, motivational speaker, and sales trainer.
Jarvis, you know I would support you in anything that you do, my brother. Jarvis is a hustler from way back, but the good hustler, not the bad hustler. So I had to make sure I said that right. Jarvis, we'll be there. See you. Thank you.
Yep, God bless.
All right. Another call. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk. Hello. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is Councilman Goose.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, you know, I don't call on these shows, but I heard the housing talk, and I had to just say something. You know, Eddie, we have the housing stock. The gentleman is right. I think it's Reverend Crawford did. And I said and talked from day one. We have to rehab the communities we have. And we have the properties that are dilapidated. People have left them or abandoned, squatters in them, so forth. So we can stop some of this housing issues. You're right. They're coming in taking the property because they want to revamp communities and it make these prices astronomical, but most people can't afford it. So I'm going to keep fighting the fight of housing, keep fighting the fight with our CRA, especially in East Tampa and other areas, to promote rehab. And that way you can revitalize the community within, and you can save the housing stock, and people can be able to live affordably in their community. So I just want to put that out there.
Thank you, Councilman Goose. And if you need me for anything, you know, I'm a phone call away. If that's something you want to push and have us talk about it every week on this radio program, we'll do that, because I would love for these communities to stay together, stay where they at, stop kicking these old folks out and putting them on the street, because that's what happened to Ybor City. I mean, right now, it probably costs more to own a parking lot in Ybor City than it do to own a house, you know, just for the taxes. So, thank you.
Let me ask something about taxes. When it comes to a person that's, say, 70 years old, 75 years old, they're retired on a fixed income, they plan their entire life based on that. I, as a county commissioner, I would support a program where we can't raise their property taxes anymore. Until either they were to pass away or they sold the house, it would reset at that point. Because you've done everything right. You've budgeted yourself on your fixed income to allocate for that. So I would certainly support that.
That's awesome.
And I think the state of Florida has something like that for veterans. So if the state can do it, there's no reason, you know, Hillsborough County or the city of Tampa can't do it if they wanted to keep these neighborhoods.
They don't.
You know, so
and that's not just a city issue. That's people in Fort Lonesome that are retired down there, have been on that family-owned plot for many, many generations now.
Okay. All right, we got another caller. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Eddie Adams, I had to call back after I heard Councilman Goose. Let me explain to y'all one thing. Code enforcement is taking black people's property in this city and been doing it for 40, 50 years. So systematic code enforcement, and I'm for it and stopped it by becoming an FBI agent, FBI informant to put people in prison. Now, if they start this aggressive, systematic code enforcement, taking people's property, they can't defend themselves, running up fines for doing no work, we're going to have this problem. They've got to get code enforcement to back down. Let's start renovating and rehabbing homes and putting this CRA money into rehab, not all this single-family new construction. That trend to go to single-family new construction is nonsense until you get those basic housing rehab. I agree with rehab, but code enforcement is taking people's property and nobody else. They're going to do it with code enforcement. They've been doing it for 20 years, and the only damn person around here fighting it is myself. Because I know how to fight it, and if they keep horsing around with it, I'm going to bring the FBI back to investigate the city for taking people's property without just compensation and excessive crimes and violating their civil rights, the 14th and 15th Amendment with an unjust taking clause. That's all I'm going to say, man. Let me go to eat my horses over here. Systematic code enforcement is a problem, so get that straight at the city of Tampa, and all this nonsense will stop.
All right,
and they
Joe.
know I don't play that.
All right, Joe. Thank you.
Joe.
Thank you. All right. One more caller. Okay. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Oh, she dropped. Okay. Well, good.
All right.
we go back to Chase. So, Chase, you kind of figured out what's on everybody's mind is housing. So, you got anything for that?
Well, it seemed like most people just called to talk specifically about the city of Tampa. And this is I'd say a statewide issue at this point. Of course, we need to focus on Hillsborough County, where we have a very aging population. And sometimes they fall through the cracks, but yet we need to take better care of them. And that proposal I made about the property taxes on people who are retired, I would certainly back that and propose it when I'm in office.
Yeah. And think about it. We have a lot of problems. But this problem over the last couple of years just kind of like folks that come out of nowhere, you know, because the state of Florida has the same problem. Someone was telling me the other day that they got a house in New York and they got a house here in Florida. And the house here in Florida cost them more than the house they got in New York.
Yeah, insurance for one thing.
And taxes and everything.
Yeah.
So, all right. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what's you? Hello?
Hi, my name is Tony. I'm calling, first of all, thank you for your program, but I want to mention something, because what you're talking about is very dear to my heart. And in regards to the seniors and their properties in the community, those who have owned the property, there is a tax cap. It should be right about 3%, whereby they can't go up on your taxes, but only 3% annually. In addition to that, there's special credits that people are eligible for, be it disability. There's a whole list, and they're on the website. If you look up Hillsborough County taxes. And what we need to do is start having more workshops where people can, in addition to offering these workshops, just have maybe if you could invite special speakers on your program that would communicate with people about what to do, so that we are pulled out of the dark regarding this. Because this is a national takeover. It's not just Florida. It may be higher in Florida, but it's a national takeover that's going over in terms of the properties, taking over the properties in the inner cities, and it's something that has occurred from generation to generation. So we also need to encourage the young folks that inherit real estate to hold on to their property. Don't get rid of the property that your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents have worked so hard to hold on to. So it's definitely got to be a lot more education going on.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. On this day.
Excuse me?
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
On this day, 1890, at Auburn Prison in New York, murderer William Kimball became the first person to be executed by electric chair. On this day, August 6, 1945, atomic bomb dropped on Japan city of Hiroshima by the U.S. B-29 Superfortress Enola Gay. On this day, 1964, Prometheus, the oldest tree in the world, aged at 4,864 years old, was accidentally cut down in Nevada. Gabriel.
All right, so the new Inflation Reduction Act, which is the Democrats' answer to save us, the government is now going to give $46.5 billion to the IRS to get 87,000 IRS agents to come get us. And that's going to help the inflation in our savings accounts by fixing, having the IRS fix us. Now, you say, well, who's going to pay for all these new taxes? Well, right now, the way it's looking by the IRS numbers, 61% of this money is going to come from people earning less than $200,000. Now, if you're out there making $1 million plus, 19% of it is going to come from you. But the balance is going to come from all the rest. Some guy named Dane Cook, comedian guy, he's 50. He's married some pretty 23-year-old. He's dated for 5 or 6 years. So if you're lonely, you haven't found that special person, just hold on. They just haven't been born yet. Meanwhile, our little bitchy dopehead out of the guy-girl grinder has been rewarded 9 years of not hearing the national anthem from the U.S. Ooh-ah. Dick Cheney just came on a commercial and said, Trump's the most dangerous one out there. Wait a minute. Isn't this the guy that started 2 wars and shot some dude in the face? Ooh.
With a shotgun.
Yeah. Okay. You want to talk to us about what?
I thought he was a quail or something.
Something like that. He couldn't sew a potato. That's something different. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian president, that we have been supporting his socialist dictatorship over there with billions of dollars every month. Biden just keeps finding more money to keep sending them checks. They have now asked China to come help rebuild their country. Meanwhile, the U.S. has now funded 10 more chemical warfare labs in his country to experiment on more of his people. New York is now being called the polio crisis thing of the planet, it seems. They have problems with polio in New York State, basically. And we'll close it off with the Gay Festival in downtown San Francisco will not be canceled due to monkeypox, which is mainly amongst the gay community. But they had to stay, but you had to stay in your house for 2 years with COVID. And to help that, Governor Newsom just signed a bill reducing penalties for sodomy with children. And meanwhile, the White House says, oh no, we have a national emergency with monkeypox. Somebody's not paying attention somewhere. The White House is bending over to grab their, I don't know. Anyway, just a lot of great news, folks. Thank you so much.
Last
Website?
phone number, how they contact you, how they get your money.
Sure.
Real quick.
My name is Chase Harrison. I'm running for District 7 for the County Commissioner. My website is votechaseharrison.com. I'll give you my personal cell phone number. It's not going to change. 813-841-7727. And I am obviously the winner for this going on.
All right.
All right. So
Good.
until next week, folks, same bat place, same bat time. Porch Talk Radio, Tampa Bay, we love you.
God bless America.
Bye-bye.